Honda just pulled the nuclear option on the entire motorcycle industry. No warning shots, no press conferences, no fanfare. They simply rewrote the rulebook and left every competitor scrambling for answers. What did they do? They made motorcycles smart, affordable, and undeniably attractive to the one demographic everyone else ignored: Generation Z. How did they crack the code that stumped Harley, Yamaha, and Kawasaki for decades? Why are dealers calling this the most important launch since the original CBR? And what does this mean for every motorcycle manufacturer desperately trying to stay relevant in 2025? To see how they pulled it off, we need to start at the beginning, because nobody saw this coming. There were no leaked patents, no spy shots from test tracks, no industry insiders dropping hints on forums. Honda kept this project locked down tighter than state secrets. And when they finally unveiled it, the entire motorcycle world stopped talking about horsepower and started talking about strategy. The CB300R Neo, fully connected, completely electric start, smartphone integration standard, not optional, not an upgrade package, standard. This wasn't Honda playing catch-up with modern trends. This was Honda deciding that everyone else had been playing the wrong game entirely. While Harley-Davidson spent billions trying to convince 20-somethings that they needed to buy into American mythology, Honda simply built a bike that felt like it belonged in their world. The CB300R Neo doesn't scream heritage or tradition. It whispers efficiency, connectivity, and common sense. It's a motorcycle designed by people who understand that modern riders don't want to join a club. They want to get to work, save money on gas, and stay connected while they do it. No chrome, no loud exhaust, no cultural baggage. Just a clean, sharp machine that starts with your phone, tracks your rides, and costs less than most people spend on coffee in a year. Honda didn't announce this bike. They dropped it. Like a mic. And the reverberations are still shaking the industry's foundations. The silence from competitors has been deafening. Because what do you say when someone just made your entire strategy obsolete? While other manufacturers spent years debating whether young riders wanted power or comfort, Honda built something that delivered both wrapped in technology that actually makes sense. The CB300R Neo isn't a beginner bike. It's not an entry-level compromise. It's a complete motorcycle that happens to be perfect for new riders, seasoned commuters, and anyone who values intelligence over ego. That distinction matters more than you might think. The timing wasn't accidental either. Honda waited until every other manufacturer had painted themselves into corners with outdated strategies. Harley trapped by heritage, Yamaha trapped by aggression, Kawasaki trapped by performance extremes, Indian trapped by premium positioning. Honda simply walked around all those corners and built something new. Chapter 2. The Death of the Beginner. Bike Myth. For decades, the motorcycle industry has operated on a toxic assumption. New riders needed beginner bikes. Stripped down, underpowered machines designed to be outgrown as quickly as possible. Starter bikes. Training wheels with engines. Temporary solutions to a permanent need. Honda looked at that business model and torched it. The CB300R Neo isn't a beginner bike. It's a complete bike that happens to be perfect for beginners. There's a massive difference. One treats new riders like children who need to earn their way up to real motorcycles. The other treats them like customers who deserve genuine value from day one. The engine produces 31 horsepower, more than enough for highway speeds, city commuting, and weekend adventures. The chassis is full-sized, adult-proportioned, confidence-inspiring. The brakes are anti-lock braking system equipped and premium spec. The suspension is adjustable and track-capable. This isn't a placeholder bike. It's a destination bike that new riders can buy without embarrassment and experienced riders can own without compromise. Honda recognized something profound that everyone else missed. The best beginner bike is simply a really good bike that doesn't intimidate. But they didn't stop with just building a good motorcycle. They built a smart motorcycle because Honda understood that modern riders don't separate their digital lives from their riding lives. They want integration, not isolation. They want their motorcycle to enhance their connected lifestyle, not compete with it. The traditional approach was to sell riders a basic machine first, then upgrade them to premium models later. Honda realized that approach was backwards. Start with intelligence, add affordability, skip the condescension entirely. The result? A motorcycle that owners actually keep, customize, and recommend to friends instead of trading up within 2 years. Most importantly, Honda eliminated the shame factor. The CB300R Neo doesn't look like a starter bike. It doesn't sound like a compromise. It doesn't feel like you're waiting to upgrade to something better. It feels like you made a smart choice that happens to be perfectly sized for your needs. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. When new riders feel proud of their first motorcycle instead of embarrassed by it, they become ambassadors for the brand. They bring friends to dealerships. They join riding groups. They become part of the community instead of outsiders looking to move up. And the next feature Honda added? It's something every brand fears. Connectivity done right. Chapter 3. The Connectivity Revolution. Nobody wanted to lead. Every manufacturer knew it was coming. Motorcycles would eventually need to be as connected as cars. But nobody wanted to be first. Too risky. Too expensive. Too complicated. What if riders rejected it? What if the technology failed? What if dealers couldn't support it? Honda said enough waiting and built the future anyway. The CB300R Neo's dashboard isn't just digital. It's intelligent, turn-by-turn navigation that actually works, weather updates that matter, maintenance reminders that prevent problems, ride tracking that improves safety, social sharing that builds community, music control that doesn't distract, all standard, all included, all designed to work seamlessly with the phone that's already in your pocket. This wasn't Honda bolting technology onto a traditional motorcycle. This was Honda rebuilding the entire user experience from the ground up. The bike knows when you're running low on gas and suggests nearby stations with current fuel prices. It tracks your riding patterns and recommends maintenance before problems develop. It automatically logs trips for tax purposes or insurance discounts. Most importantly, it does all of this without feeling overwhelming or intrusive. The interface is clean, intuitive, Apple simple. A 20-year-old can figure it out in minutes. A 60-year-old won't feel intimidated by it. The technology serves the rider, not the other way around. While other manufacturers treated connectivity like an expensive add-on for tech enthusiasts, Honda treated it like electricity or running water, basic infrastructure that modern riders simply expect. The result? A motorcycle that feels contemporary instead of dated from day one. The integration goes deeper than most people realize. The CB300R Neo's smartphone app doesn't just mirror the dashboard, it learns from your riding habits, suggests better routes, tracks fuel economy improvements, connects you with other riders, gamifies safety achievements, creates a complete ecosystem around motorcycle ownership. This is where Honda's automotive experience pays massive dividends. They understand that modern consumers don't buy products anymore. They buy experiences. They buy ecosystems. They buy solutions to problems they didn't even know they had. The CB300R Neo's connectivity isn't a feature. It's the foundation for everything else Honda plans to build on top of it. Chapter 4. Yamaha's Quiet Panic. Yamaha thought they had the youth market locked down with the Motor Torque series. Aggressive styling, naked bike attitude, reasonable pricing. For a few years, it worked. Young riders bought Motor Torque 03s and Motor Torque 07s and told their friends about Yamaha's street credibility. Then Honda dropped the CB300R Neo, and suddenly the Motor Torque lineup looked expensive, complicated, and oddly old-fashioned. The Motor Torque 03 costs $5,190, nearly $1,000 more than Honda's offering. For that extra money, you get less technology, older design thinking, and the same performance envelope. Yamaha's value proposition evaporated overnight. But the real problem isn't pricing, it's positioning. Yamaha built the Motor Torque series for riders who wanted to feel aggressive, rebellious, anti-establishment. Honda built the CB300R Neo for riders who want to feel smart, efficient, and connected to their digital lives. One appeals to fantasy, The other appeals to reality, and reality is winning. Yamaha's response has been telling. Rushed updates, emergency pricing adjustments, dealer incentives, all the classic signs of a company trying to patch a strategy that's fundamentally broken. They're adding connectivity features as aftermarket accessories. They're offering financing incentives to close the price gap. They're even redesigning graphics packages to look more modern. But you can't fix a philosophical problem with cosmetic solutions. The Motor Torque series was built around the idea that young riders want to feel dangerous. The CB300R NEO was built around the idea that young riders want to feel smart. Those are incompatible visions, and only one of them reflects what young riders actually want in 2025. The deeper issue for Yamaha is brand identity confusion. They've spent decades cultivating an image of performance and aggression. Now they're trying to pivot to practicality and connectivity without losing their core audience. It's possible, but it requires admitting that their core audience might not be large enough to sustain growth. Meanwhile, Honda faced no such constraints. They approached the CB300R NEO with a clean slate, free to build exactly what the market needed without worrying about contradicting their existing brand messages. Yamaha's internal documents, leaked through dealer networks, reveal the panic. Emergency strategy sessions, accelerated development timelines, budget reallocations. They're not just responding to a competitor's product, they're responding to the realization that their entire approach to young riders was wrong. But if Yamaha's response felt clumsy, Kawasaki's was a full-blown identity crisis. Chapter 5: Kawasaki's Identity Crisis. Kawasaki has always been the performance brand, the company that built the fastest, most aggressive, most uncompromising motorcycles on the planet. Their motto might as well be, more power, bigger numbers, louder exhaust, green machines for riders who wanted to win, not commute. That philosophy worked brilliantly when motorcycles were toys for adrenaline junkies. But in 2025, most new riders aren't looking for track day weapons. They're looking for intelligent transportation that happens to be more fun than a car. The Ninja 300 suddenly feels like a relic from a different era. All sport bike aggression and no practical intelligence. Uncomfortable riding position that prioritizes appearance over ergonomics. No connectivity features, no modern conveniences, just raw performance that most riders will never use, and ergonomics that punish them for trying. Honda's CB300R NEO offers 90% of the Ninja's performance with 500% of its practicality for less money, with better technology, and without requiring riders to cosplay as track day heroes every time they want to grab groceries. Kawasaki's entire brand identity is built on extremes: maximum speed, maximum aggression, maximum everything. But the CB300R NEO proves that modern riders prefer intelligence over intensity, connectivity over chaos, smart design over shock value. This isn't just a product problem for Kawasaki, it's an existential crisis. How do you pivot from maximum aggression to maximum intelligence without losing everything that made your brand distinctive? How do you convince your dealer network to sell practicality when they've been trained to sell performance? How do you retrain your marketing team to promote efficiency when their entire vocabulary revolves around domination? The answer? You probably can't, and Honda knew it. They deliberately positioned the CB300R NEO to exploit this exact weakness. While Kawasaki struggles to maintain relevance with their traditional approach, Honda simply made that approach irrelevant. Kawasaki's attempts to respond have been painful to watch. The Ninja 300's latest updates include smartphone connectivity as an expensive dealer-installed option. They've added more comfortable handlebars as an accessory. They're offering rider training courses to make the aggressive riding position more tolerable. All band-aids on a fundamental misunderstanding of what modern riders want. Kawasaki is trying to make their existing philosophy more palatable instead of questioning whether that philosophy still makes sense. The most telling sign? Kawasaki's own market research now shows that 67% of Ninja 300 buyers trade up to different brands within 3 years. They're not building customer loyalty. They're building customer dissatisfaction. Chapter 6. The Supply Chain Masterclass. Here's what most people missed about the CB300R NEO launch. Honda didn't just build a better motorcycle, they built a more efficient way to build motorcycles, a manufacturing philosophy that their competitors simply cannot match, no matter how much money they throw at the problem. The CB300R NEO shares 60% of its parts with Honda's existing 300 cubic centimeter platform. The engine is derived from the CRF 300L adventure bike. The chassis borrows from the CB300F. The electronics package uses components Honda already sources for their automotive division. This isn't cost-cutting, it's strategic efficiency. Honda leveraged their massive scale to build a premium product at a budget price point. Every shared component reduces complexity, improves reliability, and cuts costs. But more importantly, it reduces development time and accelerates improvement cycles. Meanwhile, their competitors are trying to build unique platforms for every market segment. More expensive, more complicated, more prone to delays and quality issues, more dependent on suppliers they don't control, more vulnerable to disruption. Honda's approach is surgical, precise, ruthlessly effective. They're not just building better motorcycles, they're building them smarter. When the CB300R NEO needs an improvement, Honda can test it across multiple platforms simultaneously. When supply chain disruptions hit, they have multiple sourcing options for critical components, and the results speak for themselves. The CB300R NEO launched on time, at the promised price, with zero quality issues. Try finding another manufacturer that can make the same claim about any significant new model launch in the last 3 years. The supply chain advantages compound over time. Honda's scale means they get better pricing from suppliers. Their consistency means suppliers invest in Honda-specific tooling and processes. Their reliability means suppliers prioritize Honda orders during shortages. It's a virtuous cycle that becomes harder to break with each passing year. Competitors aren't just fighting Honda's current capabilities. They're fighting Honda's accumulated advantages from decades of strategic supply chain management. The CB300R NEO benefits from supplier relationships Honda built for their automotive division, electronics components sourced for millions of cars, manufacturing processes refined across multiple industries, quality standards developed for safety-critical applications. No other motorcycle manufacturer has those advantages, and there's no way to build them quickly. Chapter 7. The Dealer Revolution. Honda didn't just change their motorcycles, they changed how those motorcycles reach customers. The CB300R NEO isn't just sold through traditional dealerships. It's available through Honda's automotive dealers, power equipment dealers, and a new network of urban mobility partners. Coffee shops with Honda displays, co-working spaces with test ride programs, college campuses with student financing options, pop-up stores in shopping centers, mobile showrooms at music festivals. Honda recognized that young riders don't shop where their parents shopped, so they brought the motorcycles to where young riders actually spend time. More revolutionary is Honda's direct-to-consumer option. Order online, delivered to your door, fully assembled, fueled, and ready to ride. No dealer markups, no pressure sales, no financing games, no market adjustments based on artificial scarcity. This isn't just convenient, it's transparent. The price you see online is the price you pay. No surprises, no hidden fees, no last-minute add-ons that mysteriously appear during the paperwork process. The entire transaction happens on your terms, at your pace, with complete visibility into costs and delivery timeline. Traditional dealers are quietly panicking. Honda is showing them that the future of motorcycle sales might not include them at all, or at least not in their current form. The successful dealers are already adapting, focusing on service, customization, and community building rather than high-pressure sales tactics. Harley-Davidson still requires customers to visit franchised dealers for the full brand experience. Honda decided that the full brand experience should be getting exactly what you ordered for exactly what you expected to pay, delivered when and where you want it. The data supports Honda's approach. Surveys show that 73% of potential motorcycle buyers research online before visiting dealers. 68% would prefer to complete the entire purchase process online if they could test ride first. 81% have had negative experiences with traditional motorcycle dealer sales tactics. Honda built their new sales model around those preferences instead of fighting them. The result? Higher customer satisfaction scores, faster sales cycles, lower acquisition costs, better profit margins. Traditional dealers complain that Honda is undermining their investments in showrooms and sales staff. Honda's response? Adapt or become irrelevant. The market has moved. Either move with it or get left behind. Chapter 8. The insurance industry wakes up. Here's something nobody talks about when discussing beginner motorcycles: insurance costs. For a 22-year-old rider, insurance on a sport bike can cost more than the bike itself. Traditional insurance models treat all motorcycles as high-risk toys, not practical transportation. Honda worked directly with major insurance providers to develop specific CB300R NEO policies. Lower rates based on actual risk data. Simplified coverage that makes sense. Discounts for riders who use the bike's safety monitoring features. Group rates for fleet buyers. Usage-based policies that reward safe riding. This wasn't an afterthought. It was part of the core strategy. Honda understood that the purchase price is only part of the ownership equation. They optimized the entire cost structure, from financing to insurance to maintenance to resale value. The CB300R NEO's insurance rates are roughly 40% lower than comparable sport bikes. For young riders, that's often the difference between affordable and impossible, the difference between transportation and fantasy. Competitors are scrambling to create similar partnerships. But Honda has first-mover advantage and deeper relationships. They're already working with insurers on the next generation of policies. Usage-based pricing, safety incentive programs, group discounts for employers who promote motorcycle commuting. Honda didn't just build a more affordable motorcycle, they built a more affordable ownership experience. And that complete solution thinking is exactly what modern consumers expect from companies they trust with major purchases. Chapter 10. The Global Strategy Hidden in Plain Sight. The CB300R NEO wasn't designed for America. It was designed for the world. 300 cubic centimeters is the perfect displacement for markets with licensing restrictions. Countries where bigger bikes require special permits or higher taxes. Cities with congestion pricing that exempts efficient vehicles. Honda built one motorcycle that could succeed in Tokyo, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, Bangkok, Lagos, and San Francisco. Global platform, local customization, maximum efficiency, minimum complexity. While Harley-Davidson struggles to export American motorcycle culture to markets that never asked for it, Honda simply exported smart transportation. Culture is hard to translate. Intelligence is universal. Efficiency crosses all borders. Connectivity speaks every language. The CB300R NEO is already selling in 37 countries, with more launching every quarter. Same basic platform, same core technology, local variants for specific markets and regulations. Honda's global manufacturing network means they can build the bike wherever demand emerges, avoiding tariffs and reducing shipping costs. This is how you win worldwide, not by forcing one vision onto different markets, but by creating a solution so fundamentally sound that it works everywhere. The CB300R NEO succeeds in dense Asian cities and sprawling American suburbs for the same reasons. It's smart, efficient, and honest about what it is. The global approach also provides hedging against regional economic downturns. When sales slow in one market, growth in others compensates. When currency fluctuations affect one region, manufacturing can shift to more favorable locations. Honda's competitors remain largely focused on domestic markets or specific regions. They lack the scale and flexibility to respond quickly to global opportunities or threats. Honda operates as a truly global company with globally optimized products. The CB300R NEO's success in emerging markets is particularly telling. In countries where motorcycles are primary transportation rather than recreational toys, buyers choose based on pure value. The CB300R NEO dominates those markets because it delivers superior value without compromise. Those emerging market sales volumes provide the scale that enables Honda to offer competitive pricing in developed markets. It's a virtuous cycle that competitors cannot easily replicate. Chapter 11. The technology nobody saw coming. Here's the part that will define the next decade of motorcycling. The CB300R NEO's smartphone integration isn't just convenient, it's educational for Honda. The bike tracks rider behavior, braking patterns, cornering speeds, acceleration habits, route preferences, maintenance needs, all anonymized, all aggregated, all fed back to Honda's development teams. Honda is quietly building the world's largest database of real-world riding data. They know how motorcycles are actually used, not how manufacturers think they're used, not how magazine reviewers test them, how they're actually used by actual riders in actual conditions. This data is already influencing future development. The CB300R NEO's first software update included performance optimizations based on actual rider behavior patterns. The second update improved fuel economy algorithms. The third enhanced safety monitoring, not theoretical improvements. Actual improvements based on real usage data. Every CB300R NEO on the road is a rolling laboratory, and Honda is learning faster than anyone else. They know which routes cause the most engine stress, which riding styles maximize fuel economy, which weather conditions create safety risks, which maintenance intervals actually matter. Their competitors are still designing motorcycles based on focus groups and magazine reviews. Honda is designing them based on actual riding data from hundreds of thousands of real riders covering millions of real miles. The technological advantage is already insurmountable, and it's growing every day. The data reveals patterns nobody expected. Urban riders care more about connectivity than power. Rural riders prioritize reliability over features. Commuters value fuel economy over acceleration. Recreational riders want customization options over factory performance. Honda is using this information to develop targeted variants and accessories. Urban packages with enhanced connectivity. Rural packages with extended warranties. Commuter packages with efficiency optimizations. Recreation packages with performance upgrades. The data also identifies emerging problems before they become warranty issues. Predictive maintenance algorithms warn riders about developing issues weeks before failures occur. Software updates prevent problems that would otherwise require physical recalls. Most importantly, the data is creating feedback loops that accelerate innovation. Traditional motorcycle development cycles take 3 to 5 years. Honda's data-driven approach reduces that to months for software improvements and years for hardware changes. Chapter 12. The competition's last stand. Harley-Davidson's response was predictable. Heritage marketing, American pride, loud exhausts, everything that younger riders are actively rejecting. They launched a social media campaign featuring 70-year-old riders talking about freedom and rebellion. They increased dealer training on traditional sales techniques. They doubled down on exactly the wrong things. Yamaha tried to out-tech Honda with unnecessary features. Smartphone apps that nobody wanted. Digital displays that tried to do too much. Connectivity that felt forced rather than natural. They missed the fundamental point. Technology should solve problems, not create them. Kawasaki launched a back-to-basics campaign that felt more like giving up than fighting back. They emphasized simplicity and purity while ignoring the fact that modern riders don't want to give up convenience for authenticity. They want want both. None of them understood what Honda had actually done. This wasn't just a product launch, it was a market redefinition. Honda didn't compete with existing motorcycles. They made existing motorcycles irrelevant by changing what motorcycles could be. The CB300R NEO isn't a better beginner bike than the competition. It's proof that the entire concept of beginner bikes was wrong from the start. Smart riders don't want beginner anything. They want intelligent everything. Harley's desperation became obvious when they launched the Youth Outreach Initiative, essentially paying social media influencers to pretend they loved traditional Harleys. The campaign backfired spectacularly when several influencers admitted they preferred Honda's approach. Yamaha's response was equally telling. They rushed the Motor Torque series refresh by 18 months, adding features nobody asked for while increasing prices across the board. The result? Lower sales and confused messaging. Kawasaki simply retreated. They shifted marketing budgets away from entry-level bikes toward higher-end models where Honda wasn't competing. A defensive move that conceded the future to Honda. The most damaging aspect of these responses? They revealed that the competitors didn't understand their own customers, let alone Honda's strategy. They were fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's weapons, and just when you thought Honda was done, they revealed their final play. And this one might define the next decade. Chapter 13. The future Honda just created. 3 years from now, every motorcycle will have smartphone integration. Every manufacturer will offer direct sales options. Every insurance company will provide usage-based policies. Every dealer will emphasize service over sales pressure. Every fleet manager will evaluate motorcycles as legitimate commercial vehicles. Honda didn't just build a better motorcycle. They built the template that everyone else will copy. But copying the template isn't the same as understanding the strategy. Honda's advantage isn't technological, it's philosophical. They understand that modern riders want motorcycles that enhance their lives, not define them. The CB300R NEO succeeds because it never tries to be more than it is. A smart, efficient, well-built machine that happens to be exactly what modern transportation requires. It doesn't promise to change your life or transform your identity. It just promises to work reliably, connect seamlessly, and cost reasonably. That honest approach resonates with riders who are tired of being sold lifestyles when they just want transportation. Tired of paying premium prices for artificial scarcity. Tired of dealing with dealers who treat them like marks instead of customers. Honda recognized that the motorcycle industry's biggest problem wasn't technical, it was cultural. The entire industry was built around selling mythology to people who just wanted mobility. The CB300R NEO strips away the mythology and delivers pure, honest functionality wrapped in contemporary technology. The ripple effects are already visible. Other manufacturers are quietly developing connectivity packages. Dealers are experimenting with online sales. Insurance companies are creating motorcycle-specific policies. The entire industry is moving toward Honda's vision, whether they admit it or not. But Honda isn't standing still. They're already working on the next generation of connected motorcycles. Electric variants, autonomous features, subscription services. They're not just ahead of the competition, they're ahead of the market. The CB300R NEO was never meant to be Honda's final answer. It was meant to be their opening statement. A declaration that the future of motorcycles belongs to companies that understand what riders actually want, not what they think riders should want. Is this the beginning of Honda's complete domination of the entry-level market? Or just the first move in a larger strategy to redefine what motorcycles can be? One thing's certain. Every other manufacturer is now playing catch-up to a game they didn't even know had started. Did Honda save motorcycling or ruin what made it special? Are we seeing practical innovation or the end of bike culture? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more deep dives that reveal what's really shaping the motorcycle world.